What's up everyone, welcome to another episode. Today let's talk about winter kit. So if you're out on the hunt to find some good winter cycling clothes, especially like a jacket, a base layer and a proper bib tights, you might have noticed that prices are pretty crazy for some of those items. And I mean like, what the kind of crazy. Yeah, so over the past years I've accumulated quite some winter kit from various brands and various price points. Just to mention a couple, I mean, there's a bunch of Panormal stuff, jackets here, base layers. There is some Assos stuff with jackets, nice bib tights, but then there's also the lower end of the price spectrum. So Siroko jackets and Siroko bib tights and Siroko base layers. So this covers a very wide spectrum of price range, basically going from below 100 euros up to 400 or 500 euros per item on some of those. So today I want to review them together with you to show you what the differences are, what my preferences are today, and especially what I might recommend to somebody who's just getting into cycling or who's just getting into their first winter season or who just doesn't want to spend crazy amount of money to stay warm during winter. So stay tuned and let's dive right into it. So let's start where I started. When I bought my first road bike in 2020, I wasn't really ready to drop 350 euros on a minimalistic cycling bib and 200 euros on a cycling jersey or even more expensive winter clothes. So where did I look? Of course, I went to AliExpress, and yeah, shame on me. I bought a bunch of brand copies, I would say, from AliExpress to basically get me through the winter season. So surprise, surprise, the kit was rather bad quality, I would say. The fit was kind of weird. And then also when it comes to comfort, especially when it comes to the padding of the bib shorts, I would say positioning was a little bit off. So that didn't really add to comfort when it comes to longer rides. And at that point in time, I guess the algorithms already picked up from my Google searches that I'm having a new hobby, and it started raining Siroko ads on me when I was browsing my Instagram feed. And the Siroko stuff looked really cool, I gotta say, on pictures. I also browsed their website, and to be honest, in the beginning, I thought that it has a little bit of a scammy kind of vibe because the prices have been really good. It seemed like everything is constantly on sale, but it was either giving this a try or dropping 200 euros on a Panormal jersey. And I pretty much wasn't ready for this because I kind of know myself that I get into hobbies very quickly and then lose interest after 3 to 6 months. So I didn't want to end up with 1,000 euros worth of kit that I wouldn't need 3 to 6 months down the line. So I took the risk and purchased a couple of items with Siroko. They actually arrived, and to my surprise, they felt way better than the stuff that I had purchased before on AliExpress, like a completely different league. And I was very impressed that I was getting this kind of quality at that price point. So as you might have noticed from my other videos, I have moved on already from Siroko, but I still wanted to include them in this comparison because this is where I started. So a couple of weeks back, I actually reached out to them, asking them if they would be interested in including their kit in a comparison video with the gear that I'm riding today, especially Assos and Panormal. So they said yes right away and sent over a whole winter kit that now finally I was able to take out on 2 rides to compare it to the things how I remember it from around 2 years ago and be able to compare it to the kit that I'm wearing today. So let me quickly dive deeper into the Siroko kit and then let's start comparing it to the Panormal and the Assos alternatives. So first of all, I was really happy to see that the quality even improved, at least to what I remember from 2 years ago. So I think whoever is out on the hunt to start winter cycling on a budget, or even their summer items of course as well, but now this video is about winter kit because that is normally particularly expensive. This is a great alternative, I think, for most people out there. And yeah, let's see what items we have here today. So I think the jacket might be the most important item that you might need for winter cycling, basically to keep your upper body and core warm. So let's also start with that. So this is their J3 soft shell jacket, and I think they offer it in 2 different color options. So at the moment of filming this video, this jacket is around 120 euros out there, which I think is very competitive, especially when we're gonna look at yeah, the other alternatives. I'm not gonna be diving into like the material combinations that you have here because I don't really understand enough of that to yeah, give you more insights on that, but I'm going to cover what my findings and my observations are while using this out in comparison to the other brands. So this jacket has a really nice thickness to it without being too bulky. There's also this very nice inner fleece lining on the inside. So on the 2 rides that I was using it, it was around 0 to 2 degrees outside and was definitely keeping me warm enough. What I really like here is you have your 3 back pockets and an additional pocket with a zipper on the front. So I think those zip pockets are great, especially to store keys or cash or small items like this that you don't want to yeah, fall out whenever you're pulling something out of your rear pockets. So one thing to note, it is water repellent, I think that's the right term, but not water resistant. So if you're going out and it's starting to pour down like crazy, it is going to soak up water at some point. So if you already know that yeah, you're going to be out on a ride where it's going to be raining, definitely think about adding an additional yeah, rain-proof, waterproof layer. So the next thing that you will need is a good base layer that you're going to be wearing underneath the jacket. So we'll stick with Siroko for now. So this is their SRX Denali, I think it is called. At the moment it costs around 80 euros. I know 80 euros might sound a lot for something that pretty much looks like a long sleeve t-shirt, but yeah, you would be surprised if you would see what the prices of the competitions are. So having a good base layer is especially important during winter because you're going to be generating a lot of sweat. This is the layer which is in direct contact with your skin, so its main job is to actually wick away yeah, the water and the moisture that you're generating. And it is very important that it also doesn't start smelling over time. So this is why most of the base layers that I know are made out of merino wool, which has some antibacterial properties, which means that bottom line, even if it soaks up with your sweat, it doesn't get smelly over time. This one is particularly nice because I like that it has this nice turtleneck, so it keeps your whole neck area warm as well. And there is also this kind of windbreaker fabric on the front, which is covering your chest area, which yeah, basically blocks the wind from the most important part of your upper body, so it can stay particularly warm. What I also like a lot here is that somebody thought about including those little loopholes at the end of the arm parts, so it makes it easy to basically throw your jacket on top without yeah, risking that the sleeves are gonna get caught and roll up in your jacket. And it also adds an additional layer of warmth for the upper part of your hands. So the last item that you will need in your winter essentials kit are, of course, bib tights for the winter. So these are the SRX Pro Supreme bib tights, really nice name, I know, and they cost around 110 euros at the moment. By now, Siroko also has some deep winter cycling bibs. So these are, I think, for temperatures way below 0 degrees, but normally I'm not riding outside when it's that cold because I'm just worried of ice. But yeah, these are definitely warm enough if you're cycling around the 0 degree area. So maybe most importantly, the padding in those bib tights is first of all at the right place. Second of all, it is nice and thick, so it gives you definitely enough comfort for longer rides. On the inside, you also have this fleece-like material in most areas, so I guess very similar to the one that we've already seen on the jacket. And when you look on the outside, you also have a bunch of areas which are covered in, yeah, I would say more windproof material to basically keep the most important parts of your lower body as warm as possible, but then also not cover everything up so your legs can also breathe a bit. So to sum things up on the Siroko side and to be very, very clear, this kit is definitely more than good enough to bring you through a couple of winter seasons without breaking the bank. And yeah, to make things maybe even a little bit more interested, if you use the code TECHNO&BIKES at checkout in the Siroko store, you get an additional 10% discount on the already discounted items anyways. So if you want to stay on budget, definitely have a look. You can also nicely supplement your already existing kit with a couple of those items. For example, if you're not having a base layer that properly works, I mean, keep your Rafa or your Pas Normal jacket that you love to wear and add a proper base layer underneath it. A little bit over a year ago, I made the switch to another brand called Assos or Assos, mainly for two reasons. The first one being that when I was riding with my AliExpress bibs, or then later on my Siroko bibs, or even later on my Paranormal bib shorts, I was experiencing some numbness in my male area. And I've done a bunch of tweaks to my bike fit and so on and so forth, and somehow I couldn't really get rid of it even when switching out saddles. But one day I was watching another YouTube channel, unfortunately I don't really remember which one it was, but it was basically two people talking about their favorite kit, and one of them was mentioning that he loves the Assos bib shorts because of the cuckoo penthouse. And initially I didn't really get what they're talking about. I thought that it's maybe some kind of inside joke, but a short Google after, I actually found out that the cuckoo penthouse is actually a feature of the Assos bib tights and bib shorts. So just for everybody who's now opening a second tab in their browser, going on to assos.com, trying to find the cuckoo penthouse, I think these days they renamed the feature to Sundeck Superlight. But basically what it is, in the front part of your bib shorts, you have a little pocket, I would say, with nice and soft fabric where you can place your male business. So these bib tights and bib shorts actually resolved the problem for me completely. So there was no more numbness whenever I'm riding them, independent of how long the ride actually is. And I have to say that the level of comfort wearing these is really, really next level compared to actually any other brand that I was riding so far. One big difference is also that the padding also has a different structure, kind of waffle-like almost, and it is only sewed in the front and in the rear, which means that it kind of moves around a little bit together with your bum, which I think in the result increases your comfort. So on the inside of those bibs you also have a nice fleece-like lining which keeps you extra warm. On the outside you also have patches which are especially windproof to keep these areas of your lower body extra warm. Also, what's really, really cool here is that at the end of your legs you have this kind of like neoprene style part, which of course keeps road spray nicely away from the lower part of your legs, and as it closely wraps around the lower part of your leg, it feels like it's really kind of closing off the whole system of your lower body, keeping you extra warm. So the second reason why I switched to Assos is actually that I sweat a lot in general. So whenever I'm like on the indoor trainer for 5 minutes, I look like I'm coming freshly out of the shower. And of course, when I'm outdoors cycling high efforts, I also just sweat a lot, which is not really a problem during summer, but during winter it can become a little bit of a problem because you're wearing all these layers. So I either have to dress up too light to actually not generate that much sweat, or I can quickly get into the situation where I feel that I'm overheating because all this warmth and moisture that I'm generating. So then I look back at how happy I was with the bib shorts and bib tight purchase from Assos. So I thought a company who thought about a genius idea like the cuckoo penthouse on their bib tights has for sure also thought in very, very much detail about how to design a proper jacket. So while I'm not the biggest fan of the visual design, I would say, of the Assos products, I definitely get a very strong function over form kind of vibe when I browse their website and I see how they're talking about all the technologies that they're using and why they're placing specific materials in specific spots of their products. So I did bite the bullet and I bought their Mille GT winter jacket and paired it up with their base layer because I thought, okay, maybe let's give it a try as a system. And already on the first ride out, I noticed a big difference right away, that I wasn't generating that much heat. I felt very, very comfortable. And also when I was stopping for a coffee break, I didn't really need to put on an additional vest or something to keep me warm because I actually didn't really feel that much moisture underneath that jacket. So I was easily able to basically just wear the same kit for 10 to 15 minutes without feeling the need to warm up. And to test if this is down to the base layer maybe only, or if this is actually rather down to the jacket, I also back then paired it up with the base layer that I had from Siroko. It also worked great, so I think the main magic is actually happening in the jacket, but with the other base layer I felt a little bit more moisture built up than with the Assos one. So I think when you want to level up and have the perfect setup, you basically just pair the base layer up with their jacket as well. So for me, this is really, really the perfect combo. So I think the only thing that I would change would maybe be the design a little bit, but and adding a zipper pocket to the jacket, because this is something that I'm missing there. So I have to keep my keys and my cash in one of the back pockets. But other than that, it's a magical kind of setup. So at this point, I thought that maybe you just have to spend the extra money to be comfortable during winter, especially if you're a heavy sweater like myself. So of course, I pulled up the Panormal website because, as you might have noticed from my other videos, I really love to wear their kit during summer. So of course, I would love to wear their kit also during winter. So what did I do? I went out and bought a couple of winter items from Panormal. So first one is going to be this thermal winter jacket. I mean, it has this beautiful burnt orange color. It has pretty much all the features that you want. You have the 3 pockets in the rear. You also have a zipped pocket in the back for your keys, which is great. You also have a nice zipper up in the front. And actually really, really cool is you also have a zipper underneath your armpits on the side, basically to just open up a channel, like a ventilation channel, which I think is a great idea and a pretty smart way of thinking about a winter jacket like this. Here you have nice fleece-like inner lining, especially on the front part of the jacket. The rear part of the jacket, I don't know what kind of material it is, but it is not fleece. It seems like it's a little bit more airy, I would say, more breathable. So you definitely see that somebody put some thoughts into which material to use where here. Then also I got a deep winter thermal jersey. Nice and minimalistic in black with a nice reflective logo in the back. Also similar as with the jacket here. Of course, you have your 3 pockets and the zipper pocket on the side. No zipper in the front as it is a jersey. It's not a jacket. But also here, like with the other jerseys and the other jackets, you also have this nice fleece kind of inner lining. But yeah, no ventilations like on the jacket on here. Then I got the thermal long sleeve base layer with a nice Road to Nowhere font on the back. Yeah, nothing crazy about this one. And then I got some nice deep winter bib shorts in blue. The cool thing is that these are deep winter but still shorts, not the full length, and I'm actually pairing them with nice winter leg warmers in green. So I think dark blue and then this green is going to look great from a visual aesthetic perspective. And then also on those bib shorts, as you see a pattern here, a lot of fleece material on the inside, a nice thick padding as well, so quite comfortable to wear. So I think these Panormal items are all beautiful pieces. They all work great. Unfortunately, when you look at their specification, they're mainly designed for the sub-zero temperatures. And most of the time, actually, I'm almost never riding outside when it is sub-zero, because here in this area where I live around Berlin, most of the time when it is sub-zero, it was rather raining the day before or it is snowing. So it's not really safe, I would say, on the roads that I'm riding. And the risk of hitting a piece of ice on the road was just too high for me so far. Maybe this season we're gonna see some dry days at sub-zero temperatures, and then I'm gonna give this kit another try. But so far, whenever I was running it at around the 1 to 2 degrees Celsius outdoors, it was always a little bit too warm for me. I was overheating a little bit. There was quite a lot of moisture buildup, especially when I was hitting climbs and then basically arriving at the top, because this is where you obviously sweat the most. And then you especially notice it when you stop at the coffee shop to have a drink, because then you feel all this moisture that is caught inside the jacket and inside the jersey becoming slowly a little bit cold. So setup wise, it is now going to be a Panormal kind of sandwich. So anything below 0 degrees, I'm going to go for this deep winter kit. Hopefully this season I'll be able to properly try it out in the environment that it was designed for. Then there is the Assos kit for everything around 0 degrees. And then in summer I go back to Panormal, as you might have noticed from a lot of my other videos. So to sum it up, I would say pick and choose. I think if you are also like me, riding mainly around the 0 degree temperature, and if you're not having this issue of like sweating a lot, I think the Siroko kit is really a fantastic alternative. Also, if you're sweating a lot, it's also still a great alternative. I was also riding with it for a whole season. The only thing that you might want to watch out for then, if you're sweating a lot with the Siroko kit, that maybe at the coffee stop you want to throw in a little vest. And then also when you start riding after the coffee stop, to also maybe keep that vest zipped up until you're warm again, and then you can take it off and continue riding. So one bonus tip or bonus section right now, real quick, is about my findings on how to keep my hands and my feet warm, because The first areas that suffer while out on a winter ride are basically these two. They really quickly become ice cubes for me, and I've tried a lot of setups over the past 2 years, and yeah, I was running a bunch of overshoes for my legs, the warm ones, the rain protection ones. I actually got a question for you, because I recently just purchased these over socks, which are made out of material from Panormal, which are supposed to go on top of your shoe as well. But what I noticed, there is no opening for your cleats down here. So I don't know if you're supposed to like cut an opening in there yourself, but isn't that going to tear over then over time? So maybe I'm just stupid and missing something very obvious here. But if you know a solution to this, or what these are for, then yeah, please let me know down in the comments. But other than that, let's quickly talk about how I now ended up keeping my feet warm. And first of all, there is a company, it's called ETXE Ondo, and they have these windproof socks which have a nice fleece inner lining as well. And yeah, this really windproof, and also like a double windproof layer here on the front where your toes are, because there's basically a second layer of even more windproof fabric on top of here. So these keep my feet extra warm, like way better than than any pair of socks that I was trying so far. And I by now pair these up with actually dedicated winter boots. These are from Physique, the Arctica R5. What's different in comparison to just using regular boots? Of course, they don't have any openings for cold air to come in. They have a thicker inner lining, and yeah, so these together, finally, after a long time of searching for an option that will keep my feet warm, this seems to be the perfect combo. So definitely worth a try if you're also suffering from having ice cubes on your feet, even already like I already had it after an hour or an hour and a half out on the bike. When it comes to keeping my hands warm, I also tried a lot of gloves over the years. I tried the Panormal ones, I tried the Assos ones, and still on longer ride, I still felt that my hands are turning into ice cubes. The only thing I didn't try are those gloves which have the built-in heating with, I think, a battery pack or whatever. That always felt a little bit too bulky for me, so I was trying to find a different solution for this. And I noticed that there was only one puzzle piece missing for me. So pretty much the outer gloves that I have, like these are now grip grab ones, they're totally fine, but they need to be combined with an additional item. And these are these inner gloves, also from Grip Grab. They're out of merino wool, so you basically just wear these underneath and then put your winter glove on top of that. And in that case, it actually doesn't, I noticed that it doesn't really matter which outer gloves I'm wearing. So these Grip Grab ones suddenly work great. Then the Assos ones also suddenly work great. And the Panormal ones also really work and keep my hands warm. So it's really down to just adding this inner liner of merino wool on my hands to keep my hands not becoming ice cubes and causing issues with braking and shifting out on longer rides. So I hope that maybe this helped anybody out there who is also suffering from the same issues like I do. Let me know what your tips and tricks are for staying warm during a winter ride. Drop it in the comments. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, then please consider hitting that like button. But I guess if you're still around watching this until now, I would expect that you would have enjoyed it, otherwise you would have tuned out already. So, as always, thanks a lot for watching and stay warm during winter. See you in the next one. Bye.